Everyone, it's Ellis, and this is Afreeca versus KingZone, game number 3, LCK 2018 Spring Finals. Today I'm joined by Croissant, and here we go. So KingZone has now evened up the series. The bans are staying the same.
Yes.
And KingZone is again on red side. And I mean, the more that I think about team compositions and the way the meta is right now, I almost feel like the correct play is a split pusher on red side, or poke. I only think that there's two options. There is poke and split push on red. Just because of the way the meta is right now. I don't think that other options truly exist. Afreeca first pick Sion. I think that that should trigger KingZone to handshake a Fiora. But instead, they pick the Trundle. They want to prioritize that. I will be honest, I don't know entirely why that would be the highest priority, especially because you should be able to draft around it. But it doesn't matter that much. Kaisa being picked up. And now Skarner. So now Afreeca has blue side engage heavy champions. Mowgli's also in. And then they pick Tahm Kench. So now they're taking away KingZone from being able to potentially protect against the engage that Sion and Skarner can offer. But Azir's still on the table, Morgana's still on the table. There's just so many champions. It's really, really awkward why you would proactively go for something like this. I think that showing your hand face up this early on into the draft is really, really bad, and yet we continuously see teams doing it. I really have to wonder to what depth are they thinking about the drafts.
You're talking about for Afreeca?
Just teams in general.
Yeah.
Vayne
Yeah,
being
does feel
banned
like
now.
yeah, the Vayne ban's interesting. It does seem like a good answer to the Trundle and the Morgana. Just really hard to land anything there. And then I think Kaisa probably still, like, the lane matchup's definitely in her favor against the Vayne, but in a 1v1 scenario, Vayne has more threat on Kaisa than pretty much any other AD carry. But I agree with you. I think that two teams are far too often going, oh, we want to pick Skarner, but we don't want them to get Tahm Kench, so we're just going to get Skarner, Tahm Kench. And then what happens is, KZ just gets Morgana, which is a good matchup into the Tahm Kench, and then also denies the Skarner. So, I just don't like their priority on that. I don't like their insistence on continuing the Nidalee ban. But who knows, maybe if they didn't ban it out, Peanut would have just gone legendary. I can't be sure until I see him pull it out again at MSI.
Well, Afreeca picked Cho, so not the type of champion that I was looking to see. But nonetheless, Afreeca goes for, or KingZone picks Cho, and then Afreeca goes for Azir with Jhin. And then we get to see BDD's Talia. So already, when you're looking at these team compositions, I feel like Azir is actually the most susceptible lane out of any of them early on. So I'm expecting to see a lot of focus from Peanut and BDD on that mid lane. Because when you look at the top lane and bottom lane matchups, it's a little bit more difficult in order to coordinate stuff. I do think that the Azir flexes into the team composition quite nicely. And so this is sort of like in game number 1 when I talked about salvaging the draft and not just going for a super heavy engage. And I mean, I'm sure that some spectators can see it as like we're condemning the initial picks, but I don't think there's a need to show a hand face up. Like, I think that you can go with Azir earlier on to deny the opponents from taking it because, for instance, if KingZone takes Azir there, then there's less champions that sit or fit the mold better for Afreeca. So I think it's quite fortunate for them that they got a hold of Azir. Even if KingZone has a nice matchup with the Talia in mid, these games are not being decided entirely by lane matchups. There's definitely a lot more stuff that is at play that has to do more so with the overall composition, not isolated one-on-ones or two-on-twos. Even though we have seen KingZone win laning phase in isolated one-on-ones and two-on-twos, I think it's more so a testament to the player's skill than just matchups straight up. Although, yes, last game they did have some pretty nice matchups.
Yeah. This is interesting. Peanut starts off with the redrew feed, meaning he wants to go into Tiamat, probably. Blue straight to red, then this gives Mowgli an opening on Khan. So they do punish the Cho'Gath, which was not done last game. Oh yeah, Mowgli's in, Spirit's gone.
Well, so top lane, we see Peanut come up. He's looking for a gank, ends up getting it, and that's obviously really, really bad because this matchup is already kind of brutal. I mean, Sion is still Sion. Now you see Mowgli coming up, and he's going to try to immediately relieve pressure. And it's just a question of if Khan takes the bait or not. It doesn't look like Khan was taking the bait at all. Frontal Drake being the first dragon of the game. Should be very easy for KingZone to capitalize on it. Given the early pressure up in top lane. I mean, they don't need to capitalize on it until Khan has the teleport back up, but it should be a pretty high priority capture around the time when Kuro tries to get the blue handoff from Mowgli. So we'll see if that ends up unfolding or not. Jin going Zeal first. I don't know if that's standard right now.
I don't think it is, but I've tried it before. It's not terrible.
Tiamat out from Peanut.
Oh, one thing that I read was Kramer's team told him to pick, or suggested Caitlyn, preferred Caitlyn. He went for the Jhin. So.
I think Kate would be better here. Wait, he picked his own champ?
Yeah, I think so.
It's really weird. That's really, really weird. I think Caitlyn would be actually a lot better here.
Especially against, the
Again, yeah, I think
first pick
Kate.
Cho, or first pick second phase Cho.
Take the golems really quick. Game is quite safe. Hopefully trying to make something happen. Still a little bit away from when we should be looking to see the dragon fight. Everything's just sort of stale across the map. We've seen this in a lot of Korean series. It's very, very hard to make things happen when laners understand how to play the lane out to avoid getting ganked or, losing lanes out to freezes or stuff in controlled situations. And this is something that it's really scary to do if you're facing a team that's better than you, is to handshake on even neutral openings. Because we've already seen that KingZone is fundamentally stronger than Afreeca. Team fighting, map play, understanding of objective priority, and all that good jazz. So, don't know what's going to end up happening. Peanut coming in here. That gank should never work. You have to really wonder why he's going for it. And is this that timing? No. But do they know that Skarner? Wait. Do they see him? Oh, they do. Okay, they saw him with the ward. Okay. So they see Skarner pathing into the left-hand side jungle. You know that Khan has teleport. You can see that Keen's trying to get a vision onto Peanut's red, and Peanut's down here. And even though they saw Skarner so long ago, Peanut stays inside of the brush, rather than just have, well, BDD is, okay, that was a glitch. BDD has full mana. So I don't understand why, at this point, BDD doesn't play right side of the lane, push out the lane, go into the river, and then Peanut just start the Drake, you pull it out. Because then what ends up happening is Skarner's trying to run there all the way from his blue side jungle. And if he does end up getting there, even if you have Sion can serve his teleport, Khan teleports down, your bottom lane is fresh off of a recall, and your bottom lane has superior fighting stats. So Azir's zoned out, Skarner's zoned out, Sion's able to get in there, but Khan is going to have an advantageous teleport spot. You're going to get the Infernal Drake, and then if you get the Infernal Drake and you can cut off the rest of Afreeca from the bottom lane, Tushin and Kramer are forced to concede bottom, and then Talia can just wall back into mid lane and shove out mid lane because there's not enough firepower to threaten anything in mid. And what ends up happening there is that Khan gets back up to top lane late, but that doesn't matter because it's only 11 minutes into the game, so there's not going to be any real threat or turret damage that can unfold. And then Afreeca's behind in tempo, no more neutral objective, and KingZone is just really poised to enter into the mid game very nicely. But it doesn't look like they want to do that. Instead, they go for the gank. I think that's really stupid because that's never working in a million years. Now they start the dragon. Seems like it is going to be a little bit delayed. They don't actually even start it because it's so delayed. And nothing's going to happen. Even more so when you factor in Talia's ability to wall. I suggested using the wall to get back into mid lane as a follow-up macro rotation, but you could use it defensively to secure the Infernal Drake.
Yeah,
so big.
Especially.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely agree that was the play. Well, it looks like now Peanut is topside and Afreeca are willing to start it, so.
So gross. So gross. Never in a million years should this happen. That's a really, really, really big pickup for Afreeca. To get that for Jhin and for Zir.
Yeah.
It's kind of unacceptable.
The only reason I could think of why they did spot Skarner, but what if BDD was afraid that Kuro makes some sort of Azir shuffle play onto him, Mowgli wraps around and, Flash ults him or something, so Talia just says, I don't know if I can play up. Skarner might be going for me. Something like that.
So the game's going to continue to stall out, and when we're looking at mid-game, when we're thinking of like 3v3 and 4v4 skirmishes, KingZone's going to be behind in that regard. But then the longer that the game goes on, KingZone has more options available to them. And then they have pick becomes available. So their team composition ends up becoming a skirmishy team comp using Prey's long range stuff in order to get fights, using Cho'Gath as silence and rupture to make plays. And then Afreeca just wants to turtle. Unfortunately for Afreeca and unfortunately for KingZone, Cloud Drake is the next dragon that spawns. So not really too high of a priority for either team. But it is good that Afreeca did get the Infernal because that'll end up just being worth thousands of gold later on in the game.
BDD canceled Kramer's ult. That was really good.
Checking out the replay. Feel like Afreeca did a really good job there. So
Yeah.
they're ahead right now. And if the game just continues to stalemate, all they have to do is continuously... Okay, well, that's not what they need to do. I was about to say all they need to do is continuously just fade ganks and let Jhin and Azir scale up. They can lose bottom tier 1 turret. They can even lose mid tier 1 turret. And it's not going to matter all that much. Because eventually it becomes very difficult for KingZone to make things happen. Because later on into the game, Khan is not able to somehow just endlessly push back Sion and somehow threaten bottom inhibitor. So they have a heavy reliance on guerrilla warfare, using Talia wall, and having Prey become this pseudo-assassin.
Oh, I really like this here.
This is good.
Yeah.
So because I know the result of this game, I'm wondering how this gets botched. Because they're in a very, very, very good position right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Prey just kills all of them or something. I haven't watched this either.
If you're a Afreeca right now, I think that you're just looking to actually utilize Tushin anytime that someone's out of position. Like, I don't think that Khan should be able to push as far up as he just did. There's no reason not to just have Kuro and Kramer turtling positions. There's no reason to ever go on the offensive with Afreeca's team comp right now. They should just be completely content to control left-hand side river, control the vision around it, defensive control wards, wait for waves to come into you, and use Tahm Kench ultimate to punish anyone that goes out of position. You just Tahm Kench ult in with Kramer, or you Tahm Kench ult in with Mowgli, and you kill him. Don't let Khan ever walk up. But instead right now they're going on the offensive. They're getting stuff because KingZone's actually making pretty big mistakes. And now they're going to start the Baron.
Wasn't with Prey. Tushin switched his TP for Smite.
Yep.
Morgana's in base here.
That's really bad. What Peanut's doing? Wave cleared mid way too fast. No reason to do it. Just let the wave build up and then kill your wave and then thin out the wave. Rinse, wash, repeat. There's also no reason to try to go and contest an Ocean Drake. They end up picking up a kill onto Kuro, and then a fight unfolds into mid lane. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Ocean
I'm not
Drake.
sure why Keen dies here. He kind of ults in. Let's see.
I keep saying their names wrong.
So they get it, and he just ults that way.
I don't know what Keen was doing.
Yeah, and Kuro's coming from top side, so they just gotta run.
That was just really, really strange.
Yeah. And then after this, they just need to make sure that KingZone can't rush Baron. But
Yeah.
Kramer walks up too far.
This is Afreeca not understanding what KingZone needs. We talked about this in the last series that we've VOD reviewed, where teams will often get so caught up in what they want to do rather than what the opponent needs them to do.
Yeah.
And they end up losing games because of it. if Afreeca just sits back, sits right here, Jhin with Curtain Call and W and, you know, Lotuses and stuff, and Kuro defending with Shurima and yada yada yada, there is no universe where KingZone ever gets Baron. And then once that happens, you just fix the lane with Banner of Command and stuff. You continuously keep stalling out. Khan tries to split bottom. You kill him with Tushin. Rinse, wash, repeat over and over and over. I mean, you even have a banner on Tahm Kench. You have double banner. There is zero reason in the fucking world for Afreeca ever to cross this threshold. Just sit until 4 and 5 items. It's boring as shit. But if you, like, I don't know, winning's pretty fucking fun. Like, I don't care how I'm gonna fucking win as long as I win. Doesn't matter how boring it is. But we see this from so many teams across the world. Even the best teams. You know, Afreeca is one of the best teams in the world. We're seeing it here.
Holy fuck. He just outplayed the shit out of Kuro. Yeah.
Oh, Peanut didn't even go down. And now KingZone is back in a position where they never should have been able to get to. So, this isn't like Afreeca. This is Afreeca losing more than, I mean, in my point of view, this is Afreeca losing more than it is KingZone winning. I don't think it's miraculous that they win this team fight, because their team comp is designed to be able to win an open team fight with a wide concave. They should be able to, in theory. There was nothing mechanically spectacular that just occurred. Maybe one can make the argument, you know, what BDD did, right, at the very end. But Afreeca is so foolish for even, A, capturing an Ocean Drake or putting so much investment into it to even allow contestation, to even allow them to contest it. And then they overextend in mid lane and allow another fight to unfold, even though they have the entire setup to just deny a Baron. Makes no sense whatsoever. Afreeca should have just been looking to play around Khan's teleport and abusing it, making him use his ultimate on the banner stuff, and then looking for fights around that.
Wow.
So Afreeca ends up getting the Baron. So KingZone is in the driver's seat temporarily, though. They have some time, so they're going to attack Baron without attacking Baron. They kill all the minions. They get a turret. Look like they're having a lot of fun right there. Khan gets bottom tier 2. And so they're punching back everywhere.
Well, I think they did attack Baron pretty hard here.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Tushin tries. Doesn't get anything.
They love dying to Kai'Sa right after taking Baron.
All these fights are so needless, is the whole point. And they're getting outplayed in a position war. Like, Afreeca seems outright refusing to dance. And all that they do is they have to I mean, dancing is a skill. Not literal, you know, for fucking non-native English speakers. They're gonna be like, I don't know about LS, she's talking about dancing and I'm trying to watch a video game. But dancing around Baron is, you know, dancing long enough, doing a rinse, wash, repeat, or whatever. You know, point A to point B to point C, and doing it endlessly until someone makes an error. You need to do that. Because if you do it long enough, eventually KingZone can't keep up. We already established that. But they're refusing to do that. They're trying to brute force, and they're taking fights and giving KingZone wide concaves. They're giving KingZone openings and angles of approach that they should never be able to get against this team composition on this color. And they're refusing to utilize their banner advantages that they should have over their opponents. So it's really, really weird. Okay, so they have control over River. KingZone's gonna come to try to contest. There's too many fucking players with K in their name in this game. Kuro, Kramer, Keen, Khan. I'm getting mixed up. I'm getting tongue-tied. Okay, BDD gets picked off. Let's look at this. BDD gets picked. Does Kuro not have Shurima?
He used it to finish off EDD.
No. I mean the turret.
Oh. Yeah, it's not.
Is it all on cooldown?
Going.
Okay.
I think so.
So, right here. Why on earth do you... What is this fucking wiggle jiggle? You're already committed. Don't pretend like you're not. Okay? Like, holy shit. Walk up to this wall. Flash the fucking turret. She can't flash anywhere without dying. What, is she gonna flash down? No, she's not gonna flash down. Azir's gonna knock her right back into you. You ult her. You kill her. And all this stuff is just completely wasted. And if KingZone does come to defend, at that point, you're not so far out of position. And Kuro is not missing half his life. Oh god, it's so hesitant when they already know what they want to do, but they're so afraid to pull the trigger. And now they end up getting punished for it. Kaisa looks like a great champ, by the way.
Yeah.
I thought I'd point that out.
I'm not sure how much they nerfed her on 8.7, but she's still gonna be pretty...
Her stats are just nuts.
high priority.
Yeah.
Yeah. No answers to her from Afreeca.
I mean, Kramer and Kuro are like running around for their lives this entire fight. They can't do anything. This is not how fights should ever unfold. Just like follow them slowly. I'll slow it down. You see Kramer right here. So he gets off his full combo. And then look, Kuro can't do anything. He's completely defenseless. Then Kramer gets eaten. This whole time, Prey is just getting free AoE damage. Because again, it's a wide fight. If they fight, like, in the live replay, right? They fight in here, or they fight in here. These are not wide fights. These are narrow corridors where the soldiers are strong, Shurima is strong, etc. And if you have side lane priority and pressure via the banners, things suddenly get very good for you. Because Prey cannot just run around like a fucking hyena, just auto-attacking everyone to death, while he goes completely unchecked because the, tanks and whatnot are trying to keep Kramer and Kuro alive because they're already missing all their HP. At this point, I think it's too far gone. Oh, we're playing normal speed. It's too hard. They can't win wide-angle fights, but the point is that Afreeca never should have been in wide fights. Always should have been in closed corridor, or closed corridor, contained fights, prioritizing Baron and using the double banner for side lane control, but they could never get that. So I don't know. Felt like Afreeca was really overeager to try to win the game faster. Felt like KingZone really outplayed them, and KingZone didn't even need to dance that long, ever, because Afreeca just handed it to them. Over prioritizing Ocean Drake because fucking, Season 8, and people think, what was that, a 25-minute Ocean Drake is somehow, a very important objective to risk losing your entire map position on. So that's great. Not utilizing Tushin's Tahm Kench ultimate to punish Khan, ever, or even look for it, for that matter. And then the top lane hesitations and stuff, I think everything in that regard was quite bad. That's pretty much it. Do you have anything else?
No, I need to... I know Afreeca will not ban Morgana and Kai'Sa this next game, but I just really wish they did,
They never ban... Oh, that's kind of strange.
Yeah.
Okay.